So what I'm going to talk to you a lot about today is collaborative data and insights. And basically, within the Hasbro-Target relationship, every aspect of our business is a collaborative effort. So I'm going to talk about the data we use and how we drive business without using incremental spend. So first of all, Hasbro. I'm not going to read the whole statement at the top, but what I really want you to notice is it doesn't say anything about toy. Hasbro is not a toy company. We are a branded play company. So what does that mean? We want your child to be fully immersed in our brands. We don't want you to play with the toys. We want you to watch the cartoon. We want you to play with the app. We want your child's attention all the time. So it's a branded play company. We stand behind that. Whenever anyone brings up it's a toy company, yes, we have toys, but that's not our direction. So information sharing. So this is where we get into the collaboration part. This is a two-way street for Hasbro and for Target. Not only do we want to provide them with the necessary data to make the right decisions within their planogram and within their ad space, but we want to make sure that they're providing us feedback as well in terms of what's happening at retail and how can we be more efficient and better assist them. So to do that, we have to use consistent metrics. We only use about 10 metrics, believe it or not, that we consider our go-tos. And we always talk these same 10 metrics, and I'll show you what they are a little bit later. But it drives consistency. You always want to make sure that you're talking the same language. And we use to uncover new business. For instance, we did an analysis last week. We wanted to know, why at this point last year did board games jump up so much on the East Coast? Hurricane Sandy happened this time last year. People went to the stores prior to the 2 weeks prior to Hurricane Sandy. If you look at the tri-state area, sales were up 200%. The rest of the country was down 20%. So why did that happen? We use the data to drive that. And now we can use that predictively. If we know another storm's coming up and where that's happening, we can push some product down here to Florida or in the East Coast or wherever that's going to be. We at Hasbro do not have a demand planning team or a forecasting team. It is my responsibility on the Target account to know what I am going to sell of every single SKU that we carry. And once a month, as a company, myself and my sales rep will go into a room with the Walmart and his sales rep, and we'll all come together. And that aggregated total, that's what we're building for every SKU. So we don't have a forecasting division. So it's crucial to us that we know what out-of-aisle placement we're getting, where the brands, what brands we're pushing, and where we're going. But what the collaboration process really does on both ends is accountability. Target always knows where my head is at on my brands, and I always know what they're thinking. Every action has been discussed. Every change in the planogram or what's going on is discussed. This didn't happen overnight. We didn't just say, hey, by the way, we're going to collaborate next week. We're starting. It's come with trust, and we've earned that trust from the Target account. It's not the same with some of the other accounts that we support. But it's really going well, and they have trust in us, we have trust in them, and we hold each other accountable to what we say we're going to do and what we say we're going to deliver, not only from a product standpoint, but also from a margin and pricing standpoint. This is how we go about the entire process with Target. It starts with department expectations. So I have to go in, what is my brand portfolio? What do I think I'm going to sell across all my brands? Is it 200 million? Is it 250 million for the entire year? Then brand expectations. So I take that portfolio and I say Transformers is X% of this. Marvel. Now this is all based out of data that we pull historically. So after we know the brand expectations, it's brand exposure. And this is where Target comes in. So just so you're aware, we're both doing all of this on our own. So I'm doing all this on my own with my sales rep. And then Target is doing this on their own. And then we're going to come together. I'll show you on the next slide how that happens. So brand expectations, brand exposure. Like I said, if it's a level A property, Transformers, our new Star Wars animation that comes out next fall, those are level A. So we're going to get every kind of lever that you can pull at retail, we will do that. We'll have partnerships with Duracell. We'll have out-of-aisle. We'll have focal and end cap. We'll have ads. We'll have TV running. When you download the Monopoly app, you're going to get a Transformer that pops out at you on the app. We'll do everything that we can possibly do to let you know that Transformers is coming out. Then we get down to the nitty-gritty, item level forecast. That's a lot of fun. That's the hardest thing to do, especially where I'm at with collectors, pounces, and assortments. I get excited if I'm right, to be honest with you. I mean, it's really hard to do in this kind of industry, like I said, fashion industry. And then the inventory strategy. So once we have our item level forecast, how do we want to plan the item? Do we want to go 100% import? Do we want to go 80-20? There's a lot of thinking that goes into this and a lot of history based on shipment, ending inventory, beginning inventory, package change, wave management. Which characters do you want? Which characters do you not want? And then, once the product's on shelf and we decided which characters we're going to put out there, it's inventory maintenance. So that's when you're getting into the daily sales. You're analyzing what's working in your business, what's not working, how do we course correct, and everything that you need to do on shelf to make that product successful. And then ultimately, you're trying to execute a plan. You're trying to execute that beginning plan, but obviously that plan is always evolving. It's going to change day in, day out. Your priorities are going to change. Everything's going to shift. But you need to stick to the plan that you're originally, trying to work with and try to course correct where necessary. So how do we do all that? Like I said, I'm doing that day in, day out. Target's doing that day in, day out. This is the time that we come together and we discuss this. So it's usually, for boys, it's about a 5-hour meeting, and Nerf's about a 3-hour meeting. So we have twice a year seasonal line reviews. This was last week. Last week, I was able to see next year's fall line for the first time, so next Christmas's fall line. So we do that twice a year, where we bring everyone related to the Target Hasbro account into our office in Pawtucket, sit in this giant room. We get to see 20, 25-minute movie clips of the movies for next year. That's a cool part. And they get to see the new product line. Monthly on-site meetings. So these always take place in Minneapolis, Target's headquarters for me. Constantly in Minneapolis going over all of these projects. Weekly daily calls, as you all know, if you have analysts or people trying to manage the inventory, it's a constant conversation, constant email, phone call. We're usually about year and a half out. Sometimes the development cycle gets a little behind us. And like I said, free-flowing information and data. So these are the results, right? If everyone's committed to this process, with Hasbro and Target, we are committed to this process. Like I said, we're meeting constantly on it. You get proactive and strategic planning. We have a plan for everything, and if that plan doesn't work, we have a contingency plan for that. We're efficient with our supply chain. Like I said, we come up with a forecast, and we want to make sure that we hit those numbers because we're held accountable to them. You get the increased margin benefits just by having the plan. Market share, like I said, market share is so big for us because the pie is not growing, but we want to make sure that piece of the pie is growing. We want to make sure that our product is different than everyone else's product. Our competition has similar products, so we want to make sure that we, like I said, we have you from Saturday morning to Sunday night. We have you at the cartoon. We have you in the store. And basket building, incremental sales, that is crucial. When I put an ad in Black Friday, I can use data to find out, I put the play set with a ridiculous price in that ad. So if I have a $40 play set for $20, I don't want you to come in and buy the play set. I want you to buy the play set and 4 of the figures to go with the play set. So it's all about basket building and making sure that now I have the stadium, I want the 6 tops that go in that stadium. So it's all about the brand immersion and gaining incremental sales. And by doing that, you get consumer loyalty to both the retailer and Hasbro. There are some crazy fans out there that won't, they love Hasbro. It's online, it's a little bit crazy, but they're loyal to the Hasbro brand. And I would say you're either, for the most part, a Walmart shopper or a Target shopper. So Target has really branded themselves into really, having that loyal fan base and a loyal shopper.